Marcellus, what looks worse in Dallas, Dak's play or Jerry's mouth?
What looks worse, huh? Great question, tough question. But what looks worse? Because if you look at this, Dak Prescott needs some things. And the thing he needs is weapons. But what's not going to change, what's not going anywhere, what's a staple of the Dallas organization is Jerry Jones's mouth. That's just as important to the Dallas organization as a star.
Not winning. It's not important to winning. It may be important to the brand, but not winning.
Exactly. And Jerry Jones has always kept the brand coupled with winning. He's always married the two. I'm looking at Dak Prescott, and I'm saying, I feel sorry for you. I'm looking at a guy who right now, because of Dak Prescott and the lack of weaponry he has around him. You talk about no arsenal. You're talking about my number one receiver, potentially is Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley had a great year 2 years ago in the presence of Dez Bryant being double covered in those situations. Now Cole Beasley is out there saying between Dak Prescott, Allen Hurns, et cetera, that's not a starting receiving core in the NFL. So Jerry Jones knows he goes nowhere. He knows his mouth goes nowhere. Dak Prescott's the one who needs help. He's the one saying, please help me in this situation.
I love Jerry Jones. I'm a supporter of Jerry Jones. I've never been more disappointed. When Dak Prescott steps out into that national anthem controversy and basically locks arms with Jerry Jones on that, all bets are off this season. You have to support this kid blindly. And particularly not after week. And I watched the Carolina-Dallas game, every drop of it. Dak did not look good. I get it. And it would shake an owner's confidence.
Yeah.
And it would, but that's got to be all in-house. You can't let a loose lip sink a ship. And so I think Jerry probably thinks I'm being positive. Hey, he reminds me of Jared Goff and Cam Newton, and he can run, guys. I know he looked terrible passing, but he can run. He thinks he might be saying something positive, but anybody with a brain could see that's just Dak can't run like that, and you're clearly saying he can't win the game with his arm, so we now need him to run, and that's signing him up for a suicide mission.
Well, you watched the game. I watched the game on Fox, our network right here, and our own Troy Aikman said it, and then Jerry Jones paraphrased it. Be creative. Jerry Jones saw with his own eyes Cam Newton run around, and he's like, last time I checked, Dak Prescott can run some, a little, not Cam Newton level, but he can run some. So now Jerry Jones is putting that pressure on the organization, putting that pressure on the play calling, whether it's Jason Garrett or Scott Linehan. Somehow, some way, he wants this directive to be executed. Think about it. In Seattle, the 12th man is the crowd noise. In Dallas, it's Jerry Jones's mouth. And Jerry Jones is just looking at this team and saying, I don't care about hook or crook. Get this done. And when I see elements of my team that can be better executed, I want it done. And it could be week one to Jerry Jones, and he'll still apply that pressure.
Okay. Is it fair to Dak Prescott? How should Dak receive that advice? He's basically in a contract year. They got him for one more year after this, but normally this is the time you would extend a quarterback or a draft pick with a year left on his contract. He's in a contract year. The owner clearly has just done stepped out. We want you to run the ball. That's risk of injury. That's not playing to his strength. No. I just don't see him as a running guy. So if I'm Dak, I hear this is like, hey, man, it's week one, and we got off to a rough start, and now I got to adjust? What about you adjusting? I need pieces. I need a head coach with a creative game plan that supports me and makes things easier for me. I don't have that. Jerry seems more loyal to Jason Garrett than Dak Prescott. And to me, Dak Prescott has shown Jerry Jones more loyalty than anybody in that organization. I love you, Jerry. I just don't like this.
You made a great point in the essay saying don't sell him out right now, especially when that same player, Dak Prescott, is hearing the echoes of being a sellout because he's on the same side with a Jerry Jones. That's just the way that the world is spinning this. And if you look at Dak Prescott, his first 2 years, look at his comps. You know what his comps look like? The names of Andrew Luck and Cam Newton come to mind. Tom Brady's even in a protected space in a different way. But by numbers, I'm talking about touchdowns. I'm talking about interceptions. Dak protects the ball. Of late, he's not been the same guy he was early. But in a 2-year comp, look up the numbers. He has more touchdowns than Cam Newton, fewer interceptions than Cam Newton. The same guy that Jerry Jones is now comparing them to in the sense of you need to be more like him. I think this directive was at Jason Garrett, more so than looking at Dak Prescott, because he's saying we need to be creative. Creativity doesn't come from the players. That's insubordination. It comes from the play calling, Garrett Linehan.
I want to pin you down there because you just made an interesting point.
Let's go.
Maybe I heard it wrong, and it's more about Jason Garrett. And so you would say, again, we're not beating up on Dak, but you would say maybe Dak's play is worse than Jerry's mouth?
I would say Dak's play is going to be considered worse. Perception is reality here because the constant in Dallas is Jerry Jones's mouth. They've dealt with hiccups all the time. This is a Super Bowl contending team. No, they weren't. They won a playoff team. Oh, well, Romo, we can do it all. No, you can win in the playoff game maybe once. And that's what's always been a constant with the Dallas Cowboys, through high and through lows. So Dak is going to be the scapegoat, and he's going to be the guy who has to take this blame. After week one, I don't want to jump off the Dak ship because I remember the first 2 years, and they were good years. But he doesn't have the same things to work with. You got a guy in Ezekiel Elliott who is a tremendous workhorse. You got injuries up front. You had nothing on the outside.
No tight end.
No tight end, no presence of someone who has star ability at receiver. So therefore, what is Dak to do? You need to be creative. And this takes me to a situation close to home for both of us. The LA Rams. I was a staunch supporter of Jeff Fisher. Lost to his Titans when I played, respected him as a head coach. And I saw him come out to Los Angeles with a team that I knew had young talent. He had Jared Goff, he just drafted. He also had a young Todd Gurley who was a beast. To the tune of 4-12, suppressing that offense, I looked at that team, I said, something has to change. And what did they change? They changed the coach. And once they changed the coach, all of a sudden that Jared Goff, that Todd Gurley, reemergence, and everything changed in that culture. Went from last to first in terms of offensive production. Jason Garrett, I think you heard loud and clear what Jerry Jones was saying. You more so than Dak Prescott's on that hot seat.
You've blown my mind a little bit because at no point during the day when I saw this did I ever think it was a shot at Jason Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it could be a two-way shot at Garrett and a little like, hey, Dak's not throwing the ball that well, let him run. I'd never considered the Garrett deal. And that I guess, backs me up a little bit off of Jerry in terms of how bad he looks in terms of his mouth. If he's putting pressure on Jason Garrett, I'm with him. I just think the way most people are going to spin it is just going to be on Dak. The perception will be that it was on Dak. And I just think Jerry owes him more than that. But and I'm a Dak supporter, and I want Dak to do well.
Right.
I don't care if Jerry Rice and Paul Warfield and Steve Largent were out there. If the ball's hitting the ground before it gets to a receiver's body or hand, that ain't a good look. And Dak had some balls in the dirt that was like blew my mind. And I was, wow.
Yeah, it's a bad dynamic, but I'm telling you, we saw it with our own eyes. That dynamic, that culture, the complexion of an offense can change instantly, even without personnel changes. The Rams did it. They got something. Gurley or Zeke, okay, I'll take it. Jared Goff or Dak, okay, I'll take it. And all of a sudden, last to first, that's what Dallas is preaching now. They'll take it.